We might move to the rapid fire round. As the CISO of a company operating globally, CPS 230, NIST 2, DORA and European CRA are all landing in parallel. How do I align my supply chain risk program with all of them in a practical way? Yang, we might start with you.
Yeah, my thoughts to that question is, you need to have a mapped. There are some duplication in terms of different organizations do need to be compliant to different. But if you operate in all of those countries and it has those frameworks, I would recommend you to do a mapping of similar frameworks together as one. And then when you go through your audit process or your assessment process, you go into the consolidated framework as the composers of 230, NIST 2, DORA, and as well as CRA.
From my perspective, hardly any organisation is going to be able to do all this all at once. You've got to prioritise which ones. Every organisation has this much to do, this much budget and this many resources to do it. So it's then mapping out what Yang was saying, map out what the requirements are for each of them, putting them into a prioritisation order, and it might be a 3-year program to implement all of these in a practical way.
What are the key cyber risks of open source software in the supply chain, and how do I secure the software supply chain and open source components?
If you're using open source software, you need to have a very strong DevSecOps framework and process in place in terms of, and on top of that, with the flavor of AI as well. So your code and your vulnerability assessments or scanning will need to provide the level of coverage. So the key risk is obviously through the likes of vulnerabilities that is not only that is placed in there by static code, so that any kind of password being embedded into your code, or any kind of vulnerabilities that's ever evolving, or that's been leaked, and the hackers are using that to find vulnerabilities within that needs to be covered as well.
So my board wants to know our financial exposure if a critical supplier goes down. How do I quantify and communicate third-party risk in business terms?
You need to identify, number one, your critical suppliers. It depends on the operations that you've got. In terms of your business line, your business impacts. Make sure that you actually simulate the business impacts. If your third-party suppliers were to shut down, how would that impact your reputation and as well as financial position? And then from then onwards, you can then come into you can finalize the figures per hour, per day, per week, or whatever you need to call it. When it goes down, the disruption goes down, you need to put that into the board paper.
A huge chunk of my vendors are actually fourth parties of one or two parent companies. How do I manage concentration risk?
The concentration of risk lies within the parent companies, right? So it needs to be accountable in terms of the flow on risk and how they can provide you with any kind of attestations that they're able to do their job and come back from a disruption. What are your thoughts, Brett?
Yeah, the third party, the parent companies need to be able to provide you in writing how they would deal with, or how they're able to still continue delivering their services to you if there's disruption in the fourth parties, right? But then also they need to be able to provide you the assurance in writing as to how their business operations would continue to function.
Thank you very much, Brad and E. And we do run a number of cyber resilience exercises, and we do these that help leadership teams to validate their readiness. We spoke about the importance of kind of testing your business continuity plan. It's just as important, obviously, to test your cyber systems, resilience processes, people, all of those sorts of things as well, and do it in a safe environment. So if you are looking for such a cyber resilience exercise, we do offer them. We'd be happy to have a conversation around that.